Okay, this is a free flow. I'm going to explain exactly what happened today in my life, and it was a very interesting day. Actually, I was able to do a ton of things. In terms of code reviewing, I was able to review this code for my expense tracker website that I'm currently using. It had a problem. There was this error that it had on the settings page, and I was able to solve that issue. And the issue was there how the URLs were rerouting. I was not using there's a thing in Django whereby on the urls.py you can define the app that how to label the URLs, which maybe you can say they are coming from this specific app. So on this particular project, I had named the app my app, and the previous projects that I was working on, I did not name the URLs. I did not identify, and I did not give them an identified name. And so when I moved the codes from these other projects and moved it to the Finance Pro website, those ones, they were not using app name in the when you're calling out these URLs, like when you're calling out these pages, when you're calling out these views, most probably the pages, because when you're calling out these pages, you usually call them maybe from the views page and from the templates page. So they did not have the in the naming of these URLs. They were not using the app name to name these URLs or to name these view functions. And so that was the issue. And once I did it actually took me almost 1 hour to actually figure out where the problem was. And once I figured out where the problem was, the other problems became so easy for me to solve, because it was the same problem. Because now it came, okay, there was this other thing, delete account. It was also there. I had not put the app name on the URLs, and it became easier for me to solve it. Anyways, another thing that I actually did today, I was able to make the challenge page on the G challenge website that I'm working on. I was able to make it work in such a way that when you click on a challenge in the challenges page, it takes you directly to a new page. Now in this page is where you can see all the progress entry of that specific challenge. Like let's say it lists all the progress things that you did put throughout your lifetime. Now when this was happening, actually when you go back to that challenge page and you try to put because I was also thinking along this way of, hey, if I click a button, or maybe come on, I'm sorry. So in the challenge page, also what I was able to add something like a button to delete the challenge if you want, and also a button to edit. Now on the editing part, I usually love using the pop-up page, because it makes the user stay on the same page, so that if it doesn't want to continue editing, you can just click that X and then it takes you back to the main page, which is right behind you. Now this one, I was able to complete it, and it was an amazing project. And it was an amazing feature that I worked on. And then there was this other thing that I was trying to do, but then I figured that I was making a mistake, and I had to redo everything that I was making now. And that brings me to the need of using GitHub and Git to manage my project. And something just clicked in me, and I told myself that, hey, if I'm working on a new project, I have to make sure it is on a new branch, such that in case things don't work out, I can just delete this branch, or maybe stash the changes that I made on this project, and then go back to how things were, so that I don't have to redo anything. Because now sometimes you find, like for example, in this new feature that I wanted to do, I wanted to remove the category model, and I also wanted to remove like the color and the icons from the fields, because I feel like those fields, they are not that important. So, and my actually my challenge was how I was going to remove this from every place that this color and icon appear. For example, from the views page, all these things appear, and then also, which is the most difficult thing, is from the templates, which include HTML and script. And so it became very difficult for me to try to figure out how to do it, and that's how I ended up messing up everything. And remember, by the way, I'm using AI, and it seems like it is very difficult for AI to sometimes remember the context of your code, especially when your project is so big. It becomes very difficult for it to remember the whole project. And so sometimes you have to provide the context before it can give you the right code that you want. Because now if you start just giving it the prompt, assuming that it knows like the thing that you did, like let's say yesterday, it's going to forget that. So you have to give it the right prompt and make sure you give it the context so that it knows what it's supposed to do. And here is where the idea comes in, whereby you need to understand what you're doing. You need to understand the code for you to be able to make some changes in your project. And that's how I believe, and that's one of the things that I've learned right now, that for me to know this thing, for me to actually use AI efficiently, I need to understand how my codes work. That's why the session for code reviewing is very important, because I usually review my codes 1 hour per day, and I work on my new project for like 2 hours per day. So, and that's why I was saying it is very important for you to learn your code, for you to understand how your code work, so that in case you want to make a change, you want to edit your code, or say you want to add a feature, or maybe you want to remove a field from your database, it becomes easier for you to do it, because now you understand the whole structure of your code. So anyway, that is what I learned today. And also another thing that I was able to have an aha moment was how the connection between using Ajax from the views directly to the templates, how that connection happens. Like for example, when you edit something from the view, usually it happens on the views, but now once you edit something, the update usually happens at the views. It sends the edited values as a context, and then it sends it directly to the template, and that's how the page is updated without reloading the whole page. And that's what I learned today. Anyway, that was a really interesting finding that I found today, and I think I'm getting good at creating systems with Django, and I keep on every day as I'm doing this, I keep on learning. I'm learning new things, and I'm becoming better and better and better. So I'm just hoping I'm going to be continuing doing this for a very long time, so that I become an expert in whatever it is that I'm doing. I'm becoming so good at creating system, any type of system that I think about, because now I'm just trying to solve the problems that I'm currently having. Just try to see if I can create like a system that can automate the things that I'm doing right now, and such and such. So currently, as I said, I'm working on that project. Is for tracking. Say you have like challenges, say you want to apply to 1,000 jobs in the span of 60 days or 30 days. Now this system will help you to track all the jobs. Like you're able to know, hey, so far you have applied to 50 jobs and you're left with 950 jobs, and it even gives you the percentage. It tells you how many days you have. Like, I think once I've completed this project, I'm going to use it to start the simple challenge, see how it goes. If it works out, I'm going to continue working on the on the challenge, and even adding more challenge to it so that I can figure out how things work for myself. Anyway, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers.